imagine you and your friend are on a trip to a old caves, and you found there is a gold, large amount of gold inside the glass container, inside the glass covering. Okay. Now your friend planned how to get this gold. He was using rock for that, and you were having a small marble and thinking how to use this marble to break the glass, right? So just think what your friend has done, right? Your friend has thrown the rock to the glass, and this broke the glass, right? And what you were thinking to use the small marble, right? No, this small marble, will it be able to break the rock? You know that not possible. So how to do this? Just see this. Your friend has used a big rock, and you were having just a small marble with you and thinking to use marble to break the glass to get this gold. Now why does your marble not able to break the glass, and why does rock able to break the glass? The simple reason is rock is heavier as compared to your marble piece. If you weigh that, that rock is much heavier than the marble piece, right? Now in this case marble is very small, so mass is less. That means mass of the marble is not able to break the glass. So how does a small marble break a glass? So this, think on that. Then this is a new idea you can think on that. This boy was having a toy gun. He used the toy gun to click to use the toy gun to throw marble on a glass. Just see this. So in this case, this marble was able to break the glass. Now why now? Now, whereas the same marble, when you are thrown directly on the glass, it was not able to break the glass. Whereas now, when you are hitting the glass by shooting with the help of toy gun, this was breaking the glass. Now why? Why in this case is there? The simple reason in this case is, in case of rock, momentum is large because its mass is large. In case of gun, momentum is more because the velocity of marble is large. So this gun when he used, that has increased the velocity of the marble piece. So what it shows, if we combine these two, this shows that the impact on the glass was either by more mass or by more velocity. Right? Take another example to understand this. In this case, these sumo wrestler and weak man, they are trying to open the door. You must have seen the so many movies and in the serial or in TV shows that a person is pushing the door and able to break the door. Now just see this video. What happened in this case? Is a sumo wrestler and this weak man both are trying to open the door by punching this. See what you have observed, right? This sumo wrestler and that thin small man, they both are trying to break open the door. Okay, and maybe something inside they don't have keys, they want to break it open directly. Now in that case the sumo wrestler was able to open the door, but not that man, right? Whereas this the thin person, a weak person, when he was trying to open that, rather he got hurt. Now why so? What is the difference in the physical state of these two person? What is the difference, the physical property of this sumo wrestler and that weak man? You see, the sumo wrestler has bigger build as compared to the other person. Bigger build means larger mass. So that larger mass is giving more impact on the door. Again, understand this. If I see this sumo wrestler and the weak person, I'll run this video again. If you see this video again, the thin weak person, sumo wrestler, huge body, huge mass, and this thin person, very less mass. Both are trying to open this door with die punching. They're trying to open the door and go into other side. Right? Now, first tried by this person, thin person, right? He tried, rather while trying, he got hurt also. Right? When the sumo tried, with the one punch, he's break open, he's open, able to open the door. Now, what is the difference in the body of this sumo wrestler and that man? That is very thin man. This is a huge person, quite a strong build. In this case, mass of the sumo wrestler is much more than mass of that thin person. Now, what we conclude from this, that extent of damage is more, or impact of force is more if mass of an object causing damage is more. That sumo wrestler was causing damage, right? His mass was much more than other person. So more is the mass of the object that is causing the impact of the force, that is causing the damage in the door. More is the mass, so more is the impact. Now just see next video. Now this sumo wrestler is getting another door to open. This door is much harder than the previous one. Okay. Same sumo wrestler, same trick he will try now. Just see now what happened now. So he is not able to now open this. So he got the idea. Now see what he'll do. He tried a lot, but he's not able to punch this. So what he's doing, now what he did, he came running from a longer distance, increased his velocity, and then tried to hit the door. Okay. Again, he is able to open the door which he was not able to open, not able to break by just punching. Now he made through the door by just coming running from the distance. Now what it shows? This shows that the extent of damage or impact of force also depends on the velocity of the object that is causing that impact. So more is the velocity of the object, more is the impact of the force. Previously we done in the first video, we had shown that when we were comparing two persons of different masses, the more mass sumo wrestler was able to break the door as compared to thin person, because more mass, more is the impact of the force. That is why more was the damage. Now the same sumo wrestler was trying to open the door, trying to go through the door, which was harder than the previous door, but was not able to break through. The reason is that mass of sumo is not sufficient to give the impact. So he tried another trick. He came running from a distance, increased his velocity. When he increased the velocity, then he was able to break the door. It means now impact also depends on the velocity, right? This impact or the extent of damage or change in an object can cause is called momentum. Okay, so momentum is basically the impact on the object, impact of mass, impact of velocity of the object that is causing change in that object is called the momentum. It means when we have seen that momentum depends on mass and velocity. In the first video of wrestler, this it was showing momentum depends on mass. In the second, this is momentum depends on velocity, right? So if we combine these two, momentum is equal to mass and velocity. Momentum depends on mass as well as velocity, is directly proportional to mass and directly proportional to velocity. That is how the formula of momentum is mass into velocity. Momentum we represent by small p. Okay? It is small p we represent. Small p is equal to m into v. This momentum is represented by small p. P is equal to m into v. As velocity is a vector quantity, so momentum also is a vector quantity. Momentum is a vector quantity, right? You done scalar and vector in the previous chapter. So if we see the SI unit of momentum, SI unit of mass is kilogram, SI unit of velocity is meter per second. So if we combine this, momentum is equal to m into v. So SI unit of momentum, which is represented by small p, here by mistake it is capital P, it should be a small p. So SI unit of momentum is kilogram meter per second. It is kilogram meter per second because kilogram is for the mass and meter per second is for the velocity, right? Now this momentum has lot many applications in our daily life. We are using momentum at so many places in our daily life. So we were doing the formula momentum. As the momentum is mass into velocity, right? So this we use the small p for the momentum, small p for the momentum, and formula of momentum is mass into velocity. So p is equal to m into v. M represent mass and v represent velocity. So as velocity is a vector quantity, so momentum is a vector quantity, right? Momentum is a vector quantity. Vector quantity means it is represented by magnitude as well as direction. It has direction and it has a magnitude, that is numerical values, right? So SI unit of momentum, because every physical quantity when we are doing in physics, so we show whatever the scalar or vector and what are its SI units. So in this case, the unit of mass is kilogram, unit of velocity is meter per second. So therefore, SI unit of momentum is kilogram meter per second. It is kilogram into meter per second. So if we define 1 kilogram meter per second, so we say momentum in a body of mass 1 kilogram which produces velocity of 1 meter per second, right? So okay, now just see. There are a lot many applications, a lot many places we use momentum in our daily life, right? So this is one very common example, very common thing to see. This fast bowler, आपने देखा क्रिकेट गेम में देखते हो आप हरभजन सिंह देखो या all players, so they take long run before throwing ball. See now. Have you ever wondered why a fast bowler takes such a large run up before ball? Right? He takes such a large runner before ball because in this case he is increasing velocity. When velocity is more, then momentum is more. Now because of this increased velocity, that helps him to gain momentum and that results him to ball faster. That is why a fast bowler, they cover larger distance, they run for longer distance before throwing ball. That is increasing velocity, that increasing their momentum. That momentum will increase the momentum of the ball also, so they throw a ball faster. Now similarly, javelin throw. Now athletes, they run and throw javelin. See now.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, एक क्वेश्चन आ रहा है. The learner is Manisha from UP.
सर आप आवाज आपकी सुनाई नहीं दे रही मुझे.
थोड़ी सर. हेलो, अब सुनाई दे रही है मैम?
हेलो.
आपका स्पीकर का वॉल्यूम कम है, ठीक है
सर 1 मिनट, लेट मी, मुझे स्पीकर थोड़ा करना पड़ेगा उसको.
नहीं मैम, 1 मिनट प्रॉब्लम होगा. आपको इतना नहीं सुनाई दे रहा है?
बिकॉज़ आई एम नॉट एबल टू हियर यू. मैं बाद में करती हूँ. यस सर.
बाद में काम कर लेना मैम फिर.
हाँ जी ठीक है सर.
हाँ मैम, क्वेश्चन इज डू एक्शन एंड रिएक्शन एक्ट ऑन द सेम बॉडी? पहला क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ.
Do action and reaction act on the same body?
Okay. This question is, do action and reaction act on the same body? No, action and reaction are on two different bodies.
और
One body apply action on the other, and the other body gives reaction to the first body.
और दूसरा मैडम, a body is moving with uniform acceleration, is its momentum constant?
If the one body is moving with a constant acceleration,
Yeah, uniform acceleration, then is its
no,
momentum
it
constant?
no, momentum is changing with it, because acceleration is changing velocity. Momentum is mass into velocity, because acceleration constant means the velocity is changing. If velocity is changing, that means momentum is changing.
ओके मैम, स्पीकर का वॉल्यूम कम कर लीजिए मैम, फिर स्टार्ट कर लीजिए.
Right, sir. Now to see this another example. This athletes throwing javelin. They first run and then throw javelin. The reason is while running they gain velocity. When they gain velocity, that athlete gains momentum that results in the momentum of the javelin. So that is how they throw javelin far away as they can. Okay. So that is the reason that to gain momentum they increase velocity, because the person is same, he cannot increase his mass. So mass is the body, the body mass. Only thing is he is changing his velocity to increase the momentum. So that results in throwing of the javelin to a longer distance. So we had done Newton's first law of motion in the previous session. We done Newton's first law, inertia, and formula of force we had done that time. So Newton's first law of motion says that object at rest remains at rest. Object in uniform motion remains in uniform motion unless some unbalanced external force is applied on it. Right? Object at rest remains at rest. Object in motion remains in its motion in the same direction unless some unbalanced force is applied. It means if force is balanced, if the force is applied on the object are balanced forces. Okay? If object is at rest, that means velocity is 0, and it will stay at rest. If object is in motion, velocity is not 0, but it is in uniform motion of 2 meter per second or 3 meter per second, whatsoever the velocity, when object is moving with uniform velocity, it will remain in the same velocity because balance force is applied on this. Right? Now, if force is unbalanced, then in that case, if unbalanced force is applied on an object, that produces acceleration. Right? So if force is balanced, no change in position, object at rest remains at rest, object in motion remains in motion. Right? And in whatsoever direction, it remains in same direction. Now, if unbalanced force is applied, in that case, it produces acceleration that may change the position of rest to motion or motion to rest or change in direction. Anything. That is the Newton's first law, that unbalanced force will change, otherwise this will not change. Now what we are concluding from this, what first law is saying? First law says that acceleration increases with the force. When force is applied, there is change in velocity. Just now we said Newton's first law says the object at rest remains at rest. Object in motion remains in motion if no unbalanced force is applied. Now, if unbalanced force is applied, then there is change in velocity in given time. That means change in velocity per unit time, change in velocity in given time is directly proportional to the force applied, unbalanced force applied. So this is a relation between the acceleration and the force, because change in velocity per unit time is called acceleration. So acceleration increases with the unbalanced force. If unbalanced force is applied on an object, that will increase or decrease the velocity per unit time, or we say there is change in velocity per unit time, or there is change in acceleration. Right? Force depends on mass also. not the C. In this case, 3 kg, right? This another one is 5 kg pi is there. Now, which will have more force to move, right? Which will have more force. Now, if we apply the same force on that, 10 unit, 10 unit force, or 10 newton, 10 unit force, so this will move larger distance as compared to 5 kg. Or if you want to move the same distance, same change in velocity you want, then 3 kg requires the less force and 5 kg requires the more force, right? That means the acceleration produced in the object is depending on the mass also. So 3 kg moves more and 5 kg moves less. So that means more acceleration in 3 kg, less acceleration in 5 kg. So acceleration depends on the mass also, right? Now, if we see this, acceleration decreases with the mass. More mass, less acceleration. Just now we have shown that. So acceleration is inversely proportional to the mass. Acceleration is proportional to 1 by mass. So we say A is 1 by mass. Mass we represent by m. Now the very first thing we said, acceleration is directly proportional to the force. More force applied, more is change in velocity per unit time. Then we said acceleration is now inversely proportional to mass. If we combine these two, if we combine both, change in velocity by time, that is acceleration, is directly proportional to force. Change in velocity by time is inversely proportional to mass. Acceleration directly proportional to force, acceleration inversely proportional to mass. If we combine these two equations, right, that gives that acceleration is proportional to F by mass, or change in velocity by time is proportional to F divided by mass. If we shift this mass this side, it will become m into v minus u by t proportional to force. This m denominator we are shifting on the left hand side, that becomes m into v minus u divided by t is proportional to force, directly proportional to force. That means mv minus mu by t is directly proportional to force. So this mv is final momentum, mu is initial momentum. That shows final momentum minus initial momentum divided by time is directly proportional to force. So mv minus mu is called change in momentum. If divide by time, that becomes rate of change in momentum. Rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the unbalanced force applied. It is directly proportional to the unbalanced force applied on the object, which is Newton's second law of motion. So Newton's second law of motion says rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the external unbalanced force applied, because if it is balanced force, then there is no change in velocity. So there is no change in momentum of an object because mass of object is fixed, right? From here, we say mv minus mu by t proportional to force, or we say force is directly proportional to m v minus u by t. That is, rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the unbalanced force applied. Right? Now, v minus u by t is acceleration. This you are done in the first chapter of science. V minus u by t, that is change in velocity per unit time, is called acceleration. So then proportionality sign, when we change into equal sign, we add constant in that. So here constant is k, right? So we are representing constant by k. So in this case, we are changing proportionality sign into equal sign, that become F is equal to k into m into a. The value of constant here is 1 in this formula if we take mass 1 kg and acceleration 1 meter per second square. So in this case, constant is always 1. Right? So if we substitute the value of k 1, then the formula becomes F is equal to m into a. That means the Newton's second law also concludes that force depends on mass and acceleration produced in the object. It is a product of mass and acceleration. This formula we had done in the previous class of force and laws of motion. Then we defined that force, then we said force is mass into acceleration, and we had discussed the SI unit of force. And that time also we said we'll do this in the second law. So this is second law. Statement of second law is rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the unbalanced force applied, right? And it also concludes that force is equal to m into a, mass into acceleration, right? Okay. Now, this second law has lot many applications in our life. Rather, what we're studying, there are lot many applications we are using in this in our life. That's why it says the laws of motion, the laws which we are obeying that. Okay, naturally they are coming in our life, whether we know or we don't know, but we are using it. Now, this application is why does a cricket player move his hands backward while catching a ball? When fielder is catching a ball, it's a very normal reaction. हमारे हाथ पीछे हो जाते हैं ball करते हैं. In that case, just see first video, then I'll explain this. See now, hands goes back. Okay. Again, see this now. See, this fielder when catch the ball, he moves his hand backward. It's a unconsciously or consciously also our hands goes backward when we are catching the fast moving ball. Now what happened in this case is when ball is coming, the batsman hit the ball. That ball is having some momentum. The mass of ball and the velocity given by the batsman, that gives the initial momentum of the ball. When that ball comes to player's hand, he has to stop this ball. So that means final momentum of the ball will be 0. Final momentum will be 0. Now change in momentum divided by time is directly proportional to force. Because Newton's second law says the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to force. Right? Now in this case, the momentum change is naturally player cannot do anything for that because batsman is hitting initial momentum. Final momentum will be 0 because he has to catch the ball. So that is fixed. Change in momentum, he cannot do anything. Now only thing to get less hurt, he can increase the time of catching the ball. If he increase the time to catch the ball, denominator time increases, the rate of change of momentum will become less. So the force will become less. I'll just show this in this case. Now the what player is doing, he is increasing this time to catch the ball. When the time is increased, the rate of change of momentum become less because denominator is more. So when rate of change of momentum is less, the force is less. So in that case, the person gets less hurt even if the ball is coming with a very high speed. Right? Because time to catch the ball is increased. Now the person standing at near the wicket keeper जो होता है, and the first line person is standing near the wicket keeper, they are very close to the batsman, very close. It means in that case the fielder can have no choice to catch the ball in the less time. So automatically less time means the rate of change of momentum will be more, force will more. The person may get hurt. That's why they wear gloves. The wicket keeper is always having gloves. In the person standing there, wicket keeper also wearing the gloves. Because in that case, they get less hurt because no chance to increase the time so much to decrease the rate of change of momentum or to decrease the force. So that is how the normally fielder when they are catching the ball, they move their hand backward to catch the ball to increase the time to reduce the force of impact on the hand. Just you know, karate player mostly see if you or me we want to break the pile of tiles, we will not able to. We don't get that courage also to break because we know we'll get hurt. Okay. Now the karate players, even the small kids when they learn karate, So they learn how to hit the pile of tile. This karate player is a pile of tile and he is able to break. See now, right? Now what happened in this case is he is able to break. It's a training. What training they are giving? In that case, the training is when you are going to hit the pile of tiles, right? Hit it so fast, very fast, that may reduce the time of interaction. When you reduce the time of interaction, that means rate of change of momentum will be large. Mv minus mu by t will be large. In that case, force will be more. Again, I'll reach the same previous formula. So this mv minus mu by time is proportional to force. Now the karate player hit the tiles very fast. Time is very less, in less than seconds. So time is less, that means mv minus mu by time will be more. So rate of change of momentum per unit time, sorry, rate of change of momentum, that will become more, so force will more. Or I say change in momentum per unit time will be more, so that will increase the force on the tiles. So automatically that is easy for the karate player to break the pile of tile, right? See now another example now, right? This is another example. See first this video. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Now it's this video. See now, what I mean in this case is, this Batman is hitting the ball, right? He's hitting the ball. Newton third law say action and reaction are equal and opposite. We have done in one of the class, but again we'll do today. That means the generally when we say the ball is coming very fast, generally what we think in the first reaction come from us is that means the force on the ball is too high. Batsman is hitting the ball very high with a high with a force, whereas force is not different. Force by bat on the ball and force by ball on the bat is same. There is no change, that is it. The only thing is, now in that case, if we compare bat and ball, mass of ball is much less than the mass of the bat. Mass is less. So mass is less, that means velocity, because force is m into a, mass into acceleration, and mass of ball is less, that means mass less, so acceleration will be much more as compared to acceleration of bat. If acceleration is more, that means change in velocity is more. So that is how there is a large change in velocity of small mass of ball as compared to the change in velocity of the bat. It is not at all the force. Force on both is same. If somebody say the Batman is applying stronger force, that is a wrong answer. Force by batsman on the ball and bat on the ball and ball on the bat is same. The only difference is ball is smaller. That is why ball shows more change in velocity and shows more acceleration. Okay, see, force by bat on the board and force by ball on the board the same. So why ball is going sometime out of the boundary? That is the reason, as is basically in that case ball is more. So what this shows, that is collision between the two bat and the ball. In the collision, both the object experience equal and opposite force. The object with lesser mass experiences more acceleration. That is about the Newton's second law of motion and its applications, right? So what we done till now? Till now, today's session, we have done momentum and Newton's second law of motion. Because Newton's second law of motion is related to momentum, that is the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to force. And before that we done momentum. Momentum is mass into velocity. That means impact on the object depends on the mass and velocity of the object. It is not whatsoever force you are applying, impact will depends on how much mass and how much velocity it is changing, right? So our next topic of today's session
Learners,
is Newton's third law of motion, right?
learners,
Newton's
learners,
third law of motion
learners.
that shows when two objects interact.
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
here we will go for a break of 5 minutes and then we will resume it. So learners, we will go for a break of 5 minutes and then we will resume it. तो विद्यार्थी 5 मिनट के बाद हम आपसे मिलते हैं.
Right.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर। शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, स्वयं बने,
Ma'am, during the break, some questions have come.
Mm.
So we can take up the question, then you can start with the class.
Right.
Ma'am, one question is there. A body is moving with uniform acceleration. Is its momentum constant?
If body is moving with uniform acceleration, that means there is change in velocity. Then momentum is not constant. Because momentum is mass into velocity. Because acceleration is constant, but v minus u is changing. So that is why momentum is changing. Right?
Right, ma'am.
Okay.
One more question is there. Does Newton's third law apply to a system where bodies do not actually touch each other?
Yes. Newton's third law of motion is applied to a system where bodies are not touching also. It is not that it's only contact. That is the interaction between two objects. They may or may not be touching. Like when the Earth is attracting moon and moon is also attracting Earth towards itself. There is an action and reaction also there. Right? So in the gravitational forces also there is action and reaction. So not necessary to be in touch with each other. Right?
Then one more question has come. There are three solids made up of aluminium, steel, and wood of the same shape and same volume. Which of them would have highest inertia?
Okay. See, inertia is the property of mass. Whatsoever the volume, whatsoever size, the object with more mass will have more inertia. If I compare in these three, according to me, that steel is having more mass. But if some other object, then according to mass, whatsoever is having more mass will have more inertia. Right?
And the one last question is that during this break, why can a small mass such as a bullet kill a person when fired from a gun?
Okay. See, just now we are done before this that momentum depends upon the velocity also, mass into velocity. Now, when we fire a gun, in that case, that very small bullet with a very small size is gaining large velocity. That large velocity gain is increasing its momentum. So, impact of the damage, impact of the force is more by the small bullet also, though it has some sharp and also that also is playing its role, but increase in velocity is increasing its momentum. That is how impact of force is more, that may kill the person also. So before break we finished with the Newton's second law of motion. We done application, we done why cricket player moves his hands backward, we done that. We done why karate player hits a pile of tile very fast to decrease the time of interaction, which will increase the rate of change of momentum, that will increase the force on the pile. Right? There are a number of applications we are using, even for the seat belt. Right? We wear seat belt. I think in the one session of the third law that seat belt question was there. So when we wear seat belt, what is the role of seat belt? So when car suddenly met with an accident, or your car, truck or any vehicle met with an accident, sudden accident means there is sudden change in velocity there. The car comes to rest and the body tries to remain in the state of inertia of motion. So body moves forward. So that is why the body gets hurt by striking the steering or windscreen. So that may cause fatal accident also, if depending upon how much change in the velocity. Now, when we wear seat belt, in case of seat belt, when we wear, the function of seat belt is that slowly stops the body because it's elastic. When you get jerk, in that case, the time to change the velocity is more. Time to stop the body of other is more. When time is increased, then mv minus mu by t is decreased. So force impact on the body is less. That is why seat belt is the prevention measure in case of accident, car accident. That is why I say must wear the seat belt. Now, though these air balloons are coming, that also is because air balloon, when you strike the air balloon, that air filled in that is oscillating the person, that decreases that increases the time to stop the body. So when time is increased, rate of change of momentum become less, and rate of change of momentum become less, that means the force is less. So you get less hurt, right? Similarly, there are not many applications you can show that there is a between the two bogies of train, the buffer is given, springs are given. कभी देखना अगर एक बोगी से नेक्स्ट बोगी जाते हो while train moving, तो उसके that is उसमें थोड़ी सी movement होती है, हिलती है. So a spring is given. The simple reason is if accidentally train stops suddenly, immediately, then it should not that the all bogies are merging into one another. That spring between that buffer between that shocker between them is increasing the time to stop. When it increases the time to stop, that will reduce the rate of change of momentum, that will reduce the force on that. Even the function of shockers in the car, in your cycle seat, it is same as spring. It will not stop immediately. It goes up and down. Time is increased to stop. So rate of change of momentum is less. So less force in the body, less hurt. Right? Now if we see this video. This is inflated balloon, right? In this inflated balloon, air is filled. When we release the air, air moves backward and the balloon will go forward. See now how it's going. See, right? So what is showing that? It is showing that when air is coming out of the balloon, then balloon is going forward. What actually shows that is the interaction between the balloon and the air. Two objects are interacting. Balloon is throwing air backward and air is pushing balloon forward. This interaction between the two objects is giving Newton's third law of motion. Newton's third law of motion says when two objects interact, force applies on each object. Both the objects experience the force. The first object gives the force on the second and the second gives force to the first. Right? Magnitude of force on each object is same. Magnitude is same. So what about the direction? Direction you have seen in this last video, that direction is opposite. Right? If air is moving forward, then the balloon is going backward, or if air is going backward, then balloon is going forward. So in that case, the direction of force on second object is opposite to the direction of force on the first object. Right? That is what is Newton's third law of motion, that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. To every action there is equal and opposite reaction. This action and reaction are on two different objects. They're not the same object. Just see now. I'll show this. See now, this frog is swimming. Now when frog is swimming, see this frog, how the frog is pushing the water backward and water is pushing its body forward. बहुत ध्यान से देखो, जो सी इसकी legs water पीछे मुँह करती हैं. अगर आप ध्यान से देखोगे, legs पीछे मुँह करेंगी. This is what legs are pushing backward and the water is pushing this frog forward. In this case, it is action and reaction. It is the interaction between the frog and the water. Frog is pushing the water backward and the water is giving reaction to the frog in the forward direction. That means action and reaction, they are on two different objects. Action is by frog on the water, reaction is by water on the frog. So this interaction of two objects is moving the frog forward. That is Newton's third law of motion. Right? Now just see. Next example. Bird is flying upward. This bird is flying upward. I'll show this how bird is flying and see. Okay. Right? When we see bird is flying upward, in that case, can you see the another object? One is object, one is bird, sorry, one is bird. What is the second object in this case? Okay. By looking at this, it looks there is no second object, right? So in that case, if we see that air is the second object, this wings of bird that is pushing the air downward, I show again, and the air pushes the bird upward. It's an interaction between the bird and the air. Bird is pushing the air downward, and the reaction of air on the bird is pushing it upward. Okay. Very common example. Swimmer. Swimmer when enters the swimming pool. Now, what happened in that case? When swimmer enters the swimming pool, her legs are pushing the wall backward. Feet on the wall, they're pushing the wall backward, and the wall moves the girl forward. This wall is giving forward reaction, because of which this girl is able to move. You can see this on the wall and the reaction on the girl. So action by girl on the wall and the reaction by wall on the girl. This is action and reaction making the swimmer to swim. Now, when swimmer is inside the water, there is no wall. Now, while swimming, how the swimmer is able to move forward? What pushes the swimmer forward? Now there is no wall. Now what happened in this case is, while swimming, swimmer pushes the water backward. Right? Swimmer pushes the water backward. This water gives forward reaction to the swimmer, because of which the swimmer is able to move forward. This is action and reaction that is making swimmer move forward. Right? So that is interaction between water and the swimmer, making the swimmer move. Rocket launching. Rocket launching is another example of Newton's third law of motion, action and reaction. When rocket is in the space, this rocket is throwing these gases backward direction. These gases gives opposite reaction to the rocket, because of which rocket is moving forward. This is action and reaction, interaction between the gases coming out and the rocket. Exhaust backward and the rocket is moving forward. Now just see, while launching what happens. This is in the space moving while launching. Okay. So while launching also, during this, when we launch this rocket, in that case the rocket is throwing large volume of gases. It's a large volume of gases is coming downward. That rocket is giving action to the gases, not the ground. It's action to the gases. Gases gives reaction to the rocket. That reaction is much more than the gravitational pull of the ground to the rocket. That makes rocket go upward against the gravity, because it's a huge rocket, very large mass. Large mass means large gravity, very strong gravitational force on that. Now if a rocket is to move upward, then it requires large force that is against the gravity, that is more than the gravity, that is pushing it upward. Now for that force which is pushing the rocket upward, which is greater than the gravitational force, we need to have large volume of gases. That means action is more than the reaction will move. So in that case, the rocket is giving large action to the gases, and gases give large reaction to the rocket, that is making this force more than the gravitational force. See the action and reaction. Force and exhaust forces, that is force of gravity. So when it becomes more, so this rocket launch. Okay. Very common observation, recoiling of gun. Right? Recoiling of gun. In the recoiling of gun, we feel that, but rather we observe that the gun recoils, it goes backward. See now. Right? when the gun recoil, gun fired, okay, the gun gives action to the bullet. Bullet comes forward, right? That bullet comes forward, the bullet gives backward reaction to the gun. That is why gun recoil. This is the recoiling of gun, which is basically backward movement of gun because of the reaction on the gun. So action is by gun on the bullet and the reaction is by bullet on the gun. See, you can see action, bullet going forward, and then bullet gives backward reaction. This backward reaction is called recoiling of gun, right? Okay. Now the question is, if action and reaction are equal and opposite. If action and reaction are equal and opposite, we are saying they're equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, then why not the gun recoil with the same acceleration as that of bullet? Why the acceleration produced in gun is much less than the acceleration produced in the bullet, though force on the gun is equal to force on the so this is what second law we are using. We are using second also. That means acceleration is inversely proportional. If mass is more than acceleration is, we're done in when the batsman is hitting ball also. We said acceleration produced in the ball is more. That's why ball is going out of the field sometime. So because mass of ball is less. Here also mass of bullet is much less than the mass of gun. So acceleration produced in the gun is much less than the acceleration produced in the bullet. It is mass inversely proportional. So acceleration inverse proportional to mass. So more mass, less acceleration. So that is why recoil of gun is not with the as that of the bullet. Another thing which we observe generally, okay, when this boy jumps out of the boat moves backward. Generally, if we feel it moves backward because water is there. Why not right or left? It moves backward. The reason is when boy wants to come out of the boat, he needs some force to push the boy forward. Now, for that force, he moves the boat backward. When he is moving the boat backward, the reaction of boat on the man is pushing him forward. It's action and reaction, right? So we can observe this action here. Action and reaction. And both you are able to observe because action is done by the man on the boat. The boat moves backward. Action is the boat on the man, that is the man is moving forward, right? So in this case, because boat is having less mass, so you can see that had there been a huge ship, you will not be able to the movement shape. Where action is still there. Whereas same condition is there, the sailor will push the backward and ship will move the sailor forward. That is how he will able to come out of the ship. It's action and reaction. Even when you are walking, when you walk, you press the ground backward. That ground gives a reaction in the forward direction. That is how you are able to walk. आप normally observe करके देखना, it is not the flat on the ground. We push the ground backward. हमारा पैर is pushing it backward. That is how we are going forward because of the reaction of the action on the ground, right? So the reaction and action, they are on the two different objects. All these examples you are seeing, action and reaction are on the different object, whether it is a board boy is coming, this boy is coming out of boat, or whether it is swimmer, the swimmer is pushing the boat for, swimmer is pushing the water backward, and water is giving reaction to the swimmer. The two objects, swimmer, water. Here also boat and the man, right? Balloon and air. Rocket launching is rocket and the gases. There are two objects, interaction of two objects. So when the interaction of two objects, action is on one object and the reaction is on the other object. That is why they are not called balance forces. They are not cancelling each other. Balance forces, we have done in the first lesson, they are acting on the same object. That is why they cancel each other. Net result is zero. When the balance force is acting on an object, acceleration is zero. Whereas action and reaction, that is producing acceleration in the object. That is producing, this man is coming out, there is acceleration. Swimmer is moving forward, it's acceleration in that. So that acceleration is produced because they are on the different objects, they are not cancelling each other, right? So we are coming to law of conservation of momentum. This is the next topic of this part. Okay? So till now we have done Newton's second law of motion and Newton's third law of motion. We have observed how that Newton's second law and third law we are applying in our daily life. It is common things which we are doing. There we use these laws of motion, even the first law of motion also, right? So we are going to do law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum. For that, consider these two balls, green and blue. Object A, object B, moving towards right with velocity UA and UB, where velocity of this object A, we are taking the more than the velocity of object B, right? So they are moving in a straight line in an isolated system. That means there is no external unbalanced force applied, right? So the two objects, one I'm taking green color, other I'm taking the blue color ball, or two objects, UA and UB are the velocities of these two objects. We are considering UA is more than UB. They are moving in a straight line. Now because velocity of this is more than velocity of this, so they are going to collide after some time. So they collide. See, when they collide, during collision, both the object experience force. Both the object experience force, and these forces are of same magnitude and opposite direction. Right? Whenever two objects collide, both the objects experience force, and these forces are of same magnitude and of different direction, or rather opposite direction. Now here we are considering one force FBA, that is a force applied by second object B object on the A object, blue on the green, and FAB, force experienced by second object, the B object, that is force applied by object A on object B. So these balls collide having the same forces in magnitude and opposite direction, and they collide for time t, right? Right? So now if we consider that after interaction, after collision, the final velocity of ball A is VA and the final velocity of ball B is VB. Initial was UAUB. Now we are taking the final velocity VA and VB. Now initial momentum of ball A will be MAUA, right? It is MAUA because initial momentum is mass into initial velocity. Initial momentum of ball B or object B is MB into UB, right? Final momentum of ball A is MA into VA. VA is the final velocity, and final momentum of ball B is MB into VB. That is mass of second object and the velocity of second object. Now, if we consider rate of change of momentum of ball A, final momentum minus initial momentum divided by time. that is mva minus mua by t. So we have taken mass common. Rate of change of momentum of ball B is mbvb final momentum minus initial momentum mbub divided by t. So there also we have taken mb common. That becomes mb vb minus ub by t. Now second law of motion, Newton's second law of motion says rate of change of momentum is equal to the force applied. Rate of change of momentum is equal to the unbalanced force applied on the object. If we take constant, if it is 1. So now this rate of change of momentum of body A is equal to FAB, that is force applied on object A, and rate of change of momentum of body B is equal to force applied on object B by object A, right? So FBA is force applied by A on B, that is why change is in the B. FAB is the force applied by B on the A, that is why change is in the A object, right? So that is rate of change of momentum. Now Newton's third law says every action has equal and opposite reaction. That means FAB will be equal to FAB will be equal to minus FBA. Equal and minus. Equal means same in magnitude. Minus shows opposite direction. And if we substitute, see what comes. Just wait. Okay. So now, if we substitute this value in FAB is equal to minus FB, A, action and reaction equal and opposite, right? We substitute the value. Let's see what happened now. Okay. Now, if we substitute here, right, in place of FAB, we write MA VA minus UA by T, that is equal to MB VB minus U by T, and is equal to, is minus here. Look at minus sign here, right? So it is VA, because equal and opposite, so minus sign will come here, right? Right. So if we solve that, on solving this become MAUA plus MBUB is equal to MAVA plus MBVB. Solve mathematically, you will find this answer. This MAUA is the initial momentum of A. MBVUB is the initial momentum of body B. That means total momentum of system before interaction, before collision, is equal to MAVA plus MBVB. That is the total momentum of collision after the interaction, right? So what law of conservation of momentum shows? This shows that total momentum remains conserved provided no external force is applied on it. Provided no external force applied on this. This law is valid only if no external unbalanced force is applied on this. So this says during the interaction, during the collision of objects, total momentum before the interaction is equal to total momentum after the interaction, provided no unbalanced force is applied on it, right?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
एक क्वेश्चन है.
Just 1 minute, sir.
Two identical bullets, one by light rifle and other by heavy rifle, with the same force. Which rifle will hurt the shoulder more and why?
Two identical bullets. Okay.
Yes.
Now in that case, because force is same, because bullets are having the same force, now mass of the lighter gun will have more acceleration. So that will hit the person more, because recoiling will be more in that gun as compared to other gun. Right?
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, one more question is there.
Yes, sir.
Shreya from UP. She is asking, according to third law, a bullet when hitting a human should bounce back due to opposite reaction, but it doesn't. Why?
Okay. So action and reaction are equal and opposite. That's right. Very, very clear is there. So when a bullet is hitting the person, that means the person also hits the bullet backward. Certainly the action and reaction is there. But in that case, that reaction on the bullet is not producing that much acceleration that will bounce back the bullet. That is why not able to. So I was discussing that the law of conservation of momentum. So we have taken this law of conservation of momentum again. I'm explaining that is for two balls. We have taken ball with speed UA and UB, and the masses is MA and MB will take. Now we are taking that in an isolated system when there is no external force applied, moving in a straight line. So in that case, the force on the object AB is FBA, and force on the object A is FAB. Right? The ball collide for small time t. Each ball experience force, and let the velocity after the interaction is VA and VB. Right? That is V and VB. So interaction is changing the velocity from UA to and UB to VA and VB, but the forces on both the balls are equal and opposite. Now when we see this, initial momentum of ball ball A is MA UA, and final initial momentum of ball B is MB UB. Right? Final momentum, because velocity is not changed, it become MAVA, and this become MBVB. So rate of change of momentum is equal to change in momentum by time, that is MAVA minus MAUA by T, and here MBVB minus MBUB by T. That is rate of change of momentum. And Newton's second law says the rate of change of momentum is equal to force. Right? So rate of change of momentum produced in a body A is equal to the force applied on body A by body B, and rate of change of momentum produced in body B is equal to the force applied by body A on body B. Now the Newton's third law says action and reaction are equal and opposite. It says action and reaction are equal and opposite. That means FAB is equal to minus FBA. If we substitute this value, we will see the result of conservation of momentum. Right? So FAB is equal to minus FBA. So if we substitute value here, FAB and minus this value, so we'll get the formula for the conservation of momentum. That means total momentum before interaction remains same as total momentum after interaction, provided no external force is applied. That means MAUA plus MBUB is equal to MAVA plus MBVB. Okay? That is law of conservation of momentum. Okay? Now, we have done recoiling of gun. Now, every application of Newton's third law of motion leads to law of conservation of momentum. Every application, Newton's third law is also applies to the conservation of momentum, because we are saying that the momentum remains conserved if no external force applied. That means if the action and reaction are equal and opposite, that total force becomes zero, because FAB is equal to minus FBA. If you add that, it becomes FAB plus FBA is equal to 0. That means net force on the object is 0. Now, if we use this recoiling of gun, in the recoiling of gun, when the person fires, the initial momentum of gun and the bullet both are 0. Initially, both are at rest. Initially, momentum of gun and momentum of bullet are 0 when the bullet is fired, right? So bullet is going forward. It has mass into final velocity, right? To make the total momentum 0, because initial momentum is 0, then the gun recoil. So its velocity becomes opposite, minus. If bullet is going forward, then the gun will move backward to have same initial momentum 0. So total momentum is conserved. Okay. So this is recoiling of gun. So momentum of the final momentum of the bullet is equal and opposite to the final momentum of the gun. Initial velocity of gun and initial velocity of bullet both are 0. So initial momentum both is 0. So when gun fired, action and reaction, force on gun is reaction, force on bullet is action. Mass of bullet into velocity of bullet gives force on the bullet, and mass of gun into the velocity of gun gives a momentum of gun. Mass of gun into velocity of gun is momentum of gun. So now because its velocity is in negative, so that is recoiling is there, right? Now to explain conservation of momentum, the very good way is the neutral cradle. Neutral cradle is basically there are small balls, they are hang with the almost frictionless thread and see how it works. See now, law of conservation of momentum say if no external force is applied, the momentum remains conserved. Total momentum remains conserved before interaction and after interaction will be same. So here in the neutral cradle, we are taking all the balls of neutral cradle have the same mass. If we have one ball of the neutral cradle with a certain velocity before the collision, then we must have one ball with the same velocity after collision. See now. See this is a neutral cradle. You see that? We just throwing one ball with a velocity, and from other side another ball is coming out with the same velocity, right? Same mass at the same velocity before and after collision, so that linear momentum remains conserved. Now, if two balls, see what happens if two balls are there. See if two balls, that means you are giving velocity two balls, from other side two balls are coming out. It's conserving the momentum. The two balls are moving toward the system with some velocity, and other side two balls are coming out with the same velocity. So that is conservation of momentum, because mass of the balls is mass of all balls is same. Now what happen if we use three balls? See now, three balls. Can you see that? Right? Right? So that means if three balls are coming in and three balls are going out with the same velocity. This is neutral cradle. Even if you try four balls, four are going in, four are coming out. And if from the both sides you throw two balls, center they'll come and conserve is there. So this is what is Newton's cradle. So that is basically, just see, they're showing the four balls also. Okay, see now. What if we are drop one ball both the sides? See, it is conserved, right? So that is what is Newton cradle is there. That is showing law of conservation of momentum, that momentum remains conserved. If you want to see it again. No external force, the momentum remains same. All balls of Newton's cradle have same mass. If we have one ball, you know. To see what if two balls collide, two are going in, two are coming out. If three, and now if four, see four going in, four coming from the other side. So momentum will remain conserved. And if from one from both the sides, see, they're not disturbing center three. If you take three from both the side, two from both sides, you take three from both sides, one from one side, it'll take three one side, next time other side three will come, first side one will come. So that is what is actually neutral cradle is there. Now this is showing the law of conservation of momentum, that momentum remains conserved if no external force is applied, right? So in that case, this is what we are doing in the second part either. So in this chapter, what we have done, the first part we have done the Newton's first law, inertia, force, application of inertia. Now what we are doing is in this portion we have done Newton's second law of motion. We have done how acceleration depends upon the mass and the force, right? From the Newton's second law, we have derived the formula of force is equal to m into a. Then we have done how Newton's second law is applicable in our daily life. And before the Newton's second law, we had done the momentum. Momentum, why the fast bowler is running a longer distance to have a velocity, to have momentum. Why athlete runs to throw javelin, because that will increase velocity, that will increase the momentum, and momentum will result him to throw javelin to the maximum distance, right? Then when batsman hit the ball, why ball is going sometimes out of field or sixer also. In that case, it is not the force of the bat on the ball and ball on the bat is same. It's action and reaction, equal and opposite. But impact is different. Why? Because ball is of less mass. Less mass means more acceleration produced, right? Whereas bat is of comparatively more mass, so less acceleration is produced in this case. And we have done Newton's second law application, why the cricketer moves his hand backward while catching the ball. So same thing, because in that case, while catching the ball, player increases the time to reduce momentum. In that case, increase in time will decrease the rate of change of momentum, that will reduce the force impact on the hand. Whereas oppositely, the karate player hits the pile of tiles very fast. Time is less in that case. When time is less to hit the pile, that will increase the rate of change of momentum and it will increase the force on the object.
Ma'am, we had to wind up also.
Okay. Right. So that is what we done. And then we have done the conservation of momentum. The conservation of momentum says the momentum remains conserved if no external force is applied. And neutral cradle is the good example for that. You can easily get from market also. You can see this in the school also. This is how momentum remains conserved if no external force is applied. So I hope you must have understood this. For any doubt, you can contact NOI's department and you can ask the question. I'll reply for that. Thank you.